Welcome guys to another episode of Seen and Unseen. I am Edgar Rack, and today, once again, we cross that line. So, going into haunted places. Is it a good idea? Should you do it? What are the chances of you encountering something paranormal? Why do people do it? Let's get right into these questions from a demonologist's perspective. I have watched a lot of those YouTube videos where people go into haunted places. Haunted abandoned hospitals, old houses, asylums, prisons, etc. More so, I have spoken to people who were into this type of experience, seeking the paranormal, the supernatural, and the results are always the same, whether you like it or not. Now, you're probably thinking, well, not all hunting for paranormal ends in supernatural experience. And my answer is this: just because you don't see it or hear it, doesn't mean it's not there. See, let's begin with the most brutal demonological rule. If you are looking for the demonic, it will always find you first. You do not need to try hard to find it. It's always there either way, waiting for you to make the first step. I have seen people using paranormal equipment to catch voices, sounds, and so on. From a demonological perspective, that is nothing more than a joke. You are trying to contact and hear someone who is already standing next to you. Not only standing, it's already attached to you. It will not let go, it will follow you, and it will let you know it's there in one way or the other. But let's rewind a little bit. Let's see what is happening from the beginning. Usually when people go hunting for the paranormal, they enter those places and ask if any spirit is there. Does someone want to tell them something? To let them know it's there? And 9 times out of 10, those are the places where demonic encounter is guaranteed. Places of pain, sorrow, death, tragedy, etc. Abandoned hospitals, asylums, prisons. Aside from the fact that walking into those places in search of the supernatural is the most idiotic thing you can do, but it is also one of the most dangerous spiritual practices that you can get involved in that will guarantee 100% spiritual attachment to you. Let me now be more precise in what we're talking about here. The demonic hierarchy doesn't operate by our rules. We think we only enter such places, talk to a spirit, say goodbye, and leave. Now that's the seen reality. But the unseen reality does not work like that at all. It operates on the laws of invitation and attachment. We usually think that invitation of the spiritual means we have to openly invite a spirit to come into our lives, bodies, minds, and whatnot. But unfortunately for all of the demon hunters out there, just by speaking to a spirit, it's already an invitation for them to enter. It's always amusing to see people trying to say goodbye to the spirit after using an Ouija board, for example, or before leaving a haunted place, as if our goodbyes is going to force the spirit to leave us alone. That's cute. It all eventually comes down to us badly misunderstanding how the demonic unseen reality actually works. It does not care about our goodbyes, our intentions, or even our self-delusion of thinking that we know what we're doing. What it cares about is creating a deception that will lead the spirit to be attached to you. And what I mean by attached is that it will follow you home, it will make itself known, and the spiritual troubles will begin. Now, the deception I'm talking about has to do with us being blind to what spiritual reality is. 99.9% of the time, you are not speaking to a deceased person, to some dead former patient of the haunted hospital you are now in, not some former king of the haunted castle you are visiting. So many people have fallen for this trap. It's always the demonic spirit masquerading as someone else. So it's always amusing to see people catching someone's voice on their paranormal devices. Oh, someone is trying to tell us something. Someone is trying to communicate with us. I bet it's the person who lived here and died here or was imprisoned here or whatnot. No, brother. It's a demonic spirit who is already standing next to you, playing tricks with you, and toying with your mind. Looking from it logically, what did you expect? Isn't that what you were looking for? Some paranormal spiritual experience with the unseen realm? Well, in that case, let me tell you again. If you look for the paranormal experience, if you look for spirits, they will find you before you find them. For those of you interested in entering haunted places in search for something supernatural, I have this to say. You do not prove your courage, you prove your low IQ. Guys, I'm saying all of this because I have spent more than 15 years studying demonology and exorcisms academically. I do not say all of this just out of thin air. It comes from actual research, from experience, and from the work that I do every single week. The consequences of such activities are devastating, because once you invite a spirit in, it's now totally in control. No amount of your goodbyes or telling the spirit to leave you is going to work. It's not how the supernatural laws operate. For them, an invitation into your life is when you try to speak with them, or when you are actively looking for them with your gadgets and pointless paranormal equipment. And again, once they receive that invitation, that's it. That's the end game. They attach themselves to you, and it is a very serious mistake to think that they stay in that haunted place and never leave it. Demonic spirits are not interested in ancient historic architecture. They are not interested in staying trapped in some room, waiting to be freed by someone. They are interested in you, in your life, in your soul, and the destruction of it. By going into paranormal haunted places, you are openly telling them, I am here, take me, attach yourself to me, do whatever you please. A lot of people I have spoken to who are into ghost hunting and paranormal fail to understand one simple thing. You are not in control. You are not in control of those demonic spirits, and you are definitely not in control of what is going to happen. People think that by leaving the haunted house or hospital or whatever, all the horrors will end. In reality, they only begin. How demons operate in your life, what they do, and how they start the snowball effect of destroying your life. I covered all of that in my other episodes like demonic psychology. But when it comes to haunted places, no amount of equipment, courage, or ignorance even can make you control the situation. At the end of the day, I have one question for ghost hunters. What do you expect? You expect to just meet up with the spirit, ask a few idiotic questions, say goodbye, and that's going to be the end of your little date with the spirit? It may be how we think, but again, it's not how the supernatural realm functions. Once, a young man decided to go into an abandoned house for fun. He heard that years ago some horrific events took place there, so obviously he was curious to investigate if he would see any ghosts. He and his friend went to visit the house at night. They had no paranormal equipment or anything of that sort. All they wanted to do was experience at least something supernatural. A moving chair, a voice, someone walking in the other room, or even seeing a spirit with their own eyes. After walking around the house for an hour, they neither saw nor heard anything. Disappointed, they went back home and the story seemed to end there. Weeks later, the young man started hearing laughter and giggling in his house. One time, he said he heard some childish giggling coming from the living room downstairs. The other time, it came from the attic, and it all had gone to a point where giggling started coming from underneath his bed at night. After another week or so, he would come back home to find his wardrobe being completely empty, and all his clothes carefully laying on the bed. Mind you, he was living alone. That's when he started looking for some help. A priest, a pastor, a monk, anyone. He could care less as long as the paranormal in his own house would stop. The reason I share this story with you is because seeking the paranormal will always lead you into the grasp of the demonic. Once you invite it, by simply searching for it, it is already too late and you are no longer in control. So, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, I want to explore that abandoned asylum, I want to visit that haunted house, I want to see if the stories are true, my advice is simple. Don't. You don't need to challenge something you don't understand. And you certainly don't need to invite something into your life just because you're curious. And if you believe in God, remember this. Your faith doesn't require you to chase darkness. You don't prove that you have nothing to fear by walking into a dark room and screaming, "Come get me." Sometimes wisdom is simply knowing when not to open the door. And when it comes to haunted places, some doors are better left closed. Now, my friends, with this podcast, I'm only touching the tip of the iceberg. If you're serious about moving past the surface level and understanding the actual mechanics of spiritual warfare and the true legal boundaries of the unseen realm, the doors to my seen and unseen community are open. Inside, you can find real, verified field case studies from my 15 years of research, access step-by-step training modules, and get direct, raw answers from me personally. The link is right down in the description below. In our next episode, we will take on one of the most innocent-looking and popular activities, which is as demonic as attending a satanic occult practice, and I'm not even exaggerating. I will be addressing the issue of astrology and how that is a doorway into the demonic realm. As for now, I hope you have enjoyed this episode, and we have crossed the line. Keep your eyes open. This was Seen and Unseen, and I will see you in the next episode.